The divorce papers came through on a quiet Tuesday morning. No drama, just an email that said, "Your divorce has been finalized." I sat there, staring at the screen for a long time. 9 years. Signed away with a single click. It didn't hurt like I thought it would. It felt peaceful, like taking a deep breath after holding it for years. I looked around my apartment, the soft light, the flowers from Tunde by the window, my work plans for the new Women's Foundation scattered across the table. Everything felt new, and it was all mine. That night, Tunde stopped by. He didn't call first. He didn't have to. He always knew when I needed someone to really see me. He stood in the doorway with that familiar gentleness. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled faintly. "I'm free," I whispered. He stepped inside and handed me a small box. Inside was a pendant shaped like a phoenix. "For new beginnings," he said softly. I looked up at him, really looked this time. His dark eyes held warmth, not pity. He didn't see a broken woman. He saw me. And for the first time, I let someone hold me without fear. The rain started outside, and the city lights shimmered through the windows, painting gold streaks across his face. We sat in silence, his thumb brushing against my hand, soft, deliberate, patient. The kind of touch that didn't ask for permission because it already had your heart. He didn't rush me. He just stayed close, close enough that I could feel his breath, hear his heartbeat. I realized this wasn't about loneliness. This was about coming back to life. He leaned in, and for the first time in years, I didn't pull away. The kiss wasn't wild or rushed. It was slow, reverent, like a prayer. Every part of me that had once been numb suddenly remembered how to feel. It was healing disguised as passion, forgiveness wrapped in touch. It was the moment I stopped surviving and started living again. When I woke in the morning, the sunlight spilled over us, quiet, soft, safe. He smiled at me, still half asleep, and his voice was a whisper. "You look like peace." I laughed. "Maybe I am." Later that week, I got a call from Mrs. Whitmore, my ex-mother-in-law. Her voice was small and fragile. "Amelia, may I see you?" Every instinct told me to say no, but I agreed. When I walked into the cafe, she was already waiting, her eyes red, her hands trembling. She stood up before I could speak. "I owe you an apology," she said, her voice cracking. "For everything. For letting my son treat you that way. For standing by while you suffered." I thought I was protecting him, but I only made him worse. I stayed silent. Sometimes silence is the only truth that fits. She wiped her tears, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. "He's in therapy now," she said quietly. "He's trying." Something in me softened. I didn't forgive her right there, but for the first time, I saw her humanity. I nodded slowly. "We all have to heal somehow." As I stood to leave, she whispered, "You were the best thing that ever happened to him." And I smiled, just a little. I was the best thing that ever happened to me. That weekend, my foundation launched its first Women's Empowerment Program, scholarships for women rebuilding their lives after abusive relationships. Cameras flashed, reporters asked questions, but all I could see was the line of women smiling, laughing, alive again. One of them hugged me and said, "You made me believe I could start over." I wanted to tell her, "You made me believe it too." As the event wrapped up, Tunde found me by the stage. He held out a glass of champagne. "To healing, to rising," I replied. We clinked glasses. Behind us, I saw my ex-husband Daniel, at a distance, thinner, quieter, watching silently with his mother beside him. He didn't approach. He didn't have to. Sometimes the loudest apology is the one said in silence. He gave a small nod. I returned it, not in forgiveness, but in closure. That night, as I sat on my balcony with Tunde beside me, the city lights shimmering below, I finally let myself exhale. "You know," I said, "it's strange. My revenge didn't look like what I imagined." "What did it look like?" he asked. I turned to him, smiling softly. "Peace." He smiled too. "Then that's the sweetest kind." The wind brushed against us, carrying away the last pieces of who I used to be. For once, I didn't need validation or vengeance or even justice. I had something far more powerful myself. And as Tunde's fingers intertwined with mine, I realized I didn't just survive. I became someone he could never destroy again. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever had to find your own peace, let me know in the comments. And please, subscribe for more stories about rising from the ashes.